I'm back. Happy Halloween. Just figured I would do something since it was kind of a special occasion. I'm on vacation this week. Yay! Kroger has been interesting lately. Not enough people, and I know how to do like a lot of stuff. So, of course, somebody calls in sick. Yep, just figured I'd ramble on about Halloween a little. Cut the tip of my finger off at work like a couple weeks ago. Do not recommend it. 0 out of 10. Do not recommend. You'll notice the little thing in the background that's moving around. That is Layla, the world's cutest puppy dog. She will also whine from time to time, but all part of owning a Chihuahua Boston Terrier. Yeah, like when I was a little kid, Halloween was a not as big a deal as it is now. I mean, we get dressed up in our little costumes, which you could never breathe out of. If you ever get a chance, like Google 70s Halloween costumes. I mean, like basically it was a plastic mask with a couple eye holes and a little slit right here. And you got like this plastic bib that you'd wear. And it wasn't very solid plastic either. That's why if you see an intact 70s Halloween costume, it's like $100 or more. Mostly because they weren't built to last. They were just built to last long enough to get you on the block. But yeah, if you see a still in the box Halloween costume, at worst it's gonna be $100, just because of how hard they are to find. But yeah, we used to get like popcorn balls. Like one of the neighbors would actually give us like popcorn balls, and we get toothbrushes, and we were just like, oh, we don't want that. Still kind of wondering why she didn't put them in like a plastic tag or something like that. It was just like a loose popcorn ball. It was going in with the candy. They've been handled by who knows where their hands have been. Like honestly, in certain cases, like one of our neighbors who just recently passed away, he's dressed up like a Frankenstein monster. He had, like the mask. He's like 6'6", and he was like legit scary in that because he had on like rubber hands and he named you candy, and you don't know where the rubber hands were stored and other fun stuff like that. And we got like toothbrushes, and we were not very happy about that because we wanted candy. Lots and lots of those peanut butter kisses, Mary Janes, whatever you want to call them, those nasty, nasty peanut butter candies you get every year. Bit-O honey, got that too. You're like, oh, I got Bit-O honey, and then you like suck on it and you chew on it, and not as much fun as it sounds. And we get like the little candy bars like everybody gets. Don't think they had little Reese's peanut butter cups back in the day, but sometimes like, if the family was very well to do, they like spring and you would actually get Reese's peanut butter cups like the two. But yeah, it was like simpler and like there were some Halloween specials. Like there's a Charlie Brown, It's a Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. About 77 or so, we got the Fat Albert Halloween special, which I tried watching a week ago, and I just couldn't. I just couldn't. First off, I remembered how it ended, and secondly, it was just so corny, like so corny. Haven't tried watching any other Halloween specials. If you get the chance, like I was seriously considering later today watching Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park. Pretty cheesy, but it's Kiss. This is like 1978, so um, one of the things I will warn you about: Peter Criss does not voice himself for some odd reason. They did not think anybody could understand a word that he was saying. So Michael Bell, who did like a ton of cartoons way, way back in the day, I think so. Like if you're younger and you're watching this, he was like the uncle in Rugrats, like Angelica's dad. That was Michael Bell. But yeah, like way back in the day, that's what Halloween was all about. Might listen to some CBS Radio Mystery Theater. That is on YouTube if you get the chance. Some of those are still legit creepy. Like I used to listen to them back in the 70s, and they are still legit creepy. Like I mean, there's this one graven image. If you get the chance, I won't spoil it for you, but it like legit had me thinking about it the whole next day, and I'm just like, oh. And this was like 3 months ago, I think. I think it might have been two, because I was telling a coworker about it, and he's going home for the summer. Like I said, she's just gonna do her thing in the background, and now she wants to play. I think she's really worried about later when she gets dressed up like a taco, like she does every Halloween, because I'm too cheap to buy her new costume. But yeah, Halloween used to be not as big a deal. Now, people are scared to take your kids out trick or treating. I don't blame them. I mean, way back in the day, we heard rumors about stuff, but it never made the news. Now, like everything makes news. It gives people just horrible ideas. Like they'll be like, "Ooh, I never thought of that until I saw that on the news." But because they're reporting all this stuff, like the proliferation of crime is going up because nobody had ever thought of doing that before. And here it is on the news being described in great detail. Not blaming anybody per se, just saying that's actually what's happening. Like people were doing this stuff back in the 70s, but they were just the media was a little more discreet about it. Like they wouldn't even say anything unless it was truly horrific. And in this area, I don't think we had too many of those. Now it's like every week something like that happening. Like I'll pull up Facebook and they'll be like, "This person did this, that's this, and this." I'm like, "Yeah, didn't hear much of that back in the 70s, did we?" Again, she is fairly active. She ate not too long ago, so she's fairly active. But yeah, it's been an okay vacation. I mean, haven't done much. Watched like a bunch of YouTube videos. Mostly like, basketball, fantasy football. Not doing great, not doing bad. It's kind of eh. It's been a weird season because like you'll grab somebody, you're like, ooh, that's a good player, and look, they're projected for 13 points, and then they'll get injured like Kirk Cousins. Like didn't know he was gonna get injured. Somebody dropped him in one league. They dropped Cooper Cup, Joe Burrow, and Kirk Cousins all in like a 2 days period. Grabbed all three of them. So now I have like three quarterbacks. I'm replacing Cousins with Levis, and I was replacing somebody else who got injured this weekend too. With somebody else. I can't remember who did it earlier, but yeah. Well, again, she's gonna be like doing her thing in the background. Yeah, it's just like really weird that MLS is ending. My Rangers are up 2-1 in the World Series. And hockey season's going on. Basketball just started up. College football is going on. Virginia Tech is 4-4. And everybody here is really happy about that because we were 3-8 last year. So 4-4 is a bit of an improvement. Hopefully the UVA game does not get canceled this year because last year it got canceled because there's two UVA players got shot. Not a complaint. I mean, I fully understand. Was not one bit mad when they canceled the game. I mean, UVA didn't want those 3 players dead, and there just wasn't any point playing a football game because their heart wasn't in it. Although maybe, just maybe, they could have done, like, a benefit game or something like that, or a Christmas break and had, like, some locals come, like, something like that. I mean, they could have done something for them. I mean, it's just like a benefit game, wouldn't count in the standings, kinda like a spring game, more or less. But again, I also thought that the Bills and the Bengals should have had like a benefit game for DeMar Hamlin once the season was over too, at like a neutral site, like maybe St. Louis. Because if they'd had it in St. Louis, it would have sold out. Because like the XFL team this year just killed it in St. Louis, killed it. Like I mean, XFL is not the greatest football league in the world. It was football, but they packed what used to be the Edward Jones Dome every chance they got just to show the NFL that they messed up. And hopefully, next round of NFL expansion, St. Louis gets a team, and maybe San Antonio, something like that. And they kind of need to realign too, because like I mean, there really aren't rivalries like there used to be. Like I understand the AFC East is like the Dolphins, and the Patriots, and the Jets, and the Bills all have a rivalry, but it'd make more sense if the Dolphins went to the Southeast or the AFC South, and the Colts went to the NFC North, AFC North, and then the Baltimore Ravens went to the AFC East to take the Dolphins' place. I mean, that just make more geographical sense. And in the NFC, Cowboys go to the NFC South. The Panthers could take their place because they're kind of a little closer to Washington than anybody else. And I think that would be the only major geographical shift that would need to happen. Because I mean, Dallas and Louisiana are kind of rather close to each other. The Buccaneers belong there, the Falcons belong there. But the Panthers are kind of odd team out because they're theoretically South, but they fit into the NFC East a little better. And the Commanders, or whatever they're going to be called by that point, the Giants, Eagles, Panthers kind of makes a little more geographic sense. And then if they did let St. Louis into San Antonio, and St. Louis would probably have to be in the East or NFC North, and put San Antonio in the AFC South. It'll lead to a bit of imbalance, but by the same token, the next round of expansion would probably fix that too when they expand. Don't think Portland's ever getting an NFL team because they're too close to Seattle. Can't really think of any other cities like other maybe Birmingham, Alabama, and Salt Lake City, Utah, possibly. But I'm just not sure football belongs in Salt Lake. Pro football belongs in Salt Lake City because the Jazz aren't really drawing, and yeah. Or they could expand back to Oakland if Oakland ever gets a new Coliseum, but I doubt that's going to happen because they're kind of strapped for cash. But yeah, went from Halloween to football to all over the place. But yeah, hope everybody's a safe Halloween. Stay safe there. Hope this finds you all well, and hope I kind of stayed on focused a little. But yeah, like if you get the chance, Kiss meets Phantom of the Park, good Halloween thing to do. CBS Radio Mystery. There's a lot of those on YouTube. Check those out. Garfield Halloween special was pretty good. I remember that. It was actually pretty good. But most Garfield stuff is pretty good. Like the TV series Garfield and Friends, the Garfield Christmas special was pretty good. Nine Lives of Garfield actually made me cry. I haven't been able to watch it since. Yeah. Yeah, there's a few good Halloween specials, but I kind of recommend staying away from the Fat Hour Halloween special. It's just not interesting. And I mean, like one of the big things was Bill Cosby probably should have watched his show a little more often. One of the things that really, really did tick me off about Fat Albert, going a bit of a rant here and then I'll finish up. Like the show would show like a kid being like, Fat Albert, my stepdad's being mean to me. I'm like, um, shouldn't you just go straight to police? Because, Albert would take them to police. And I'm like, couldn't the stepdad be getting away in all the time that you're taking to go to police? Just a little pet peeve that I had. I mean, like, I'm sure people learned something off them. I kind of learned more off Captain Kangaroo and Mr. Rogers than I did off Fat Albert. Because it turns out, just found out like a year ago or so that Bob Keeshan, the guy who was Captain Kangaroo, had a degree in early education, so obviously he knew what he was doing. He wouldn't have toys made. Like Mr. Rogers never had a toy put out with his name on it. I mean, there were books. Books are different though. Because I mean, Sesame Street marketed a ton of toys like back in the day. But yeah, Captain Kangaroo never had like toys, but he always had twin bicycles. That was like the big thing he advertised on his show because he believed kids should be out riding bicycles. And yeah, he had like books. Sesame Street is the books though, but they also had, like the toys. Like there are so many Sesame Street toys when I was a little kid, and it's gotten much, much worse. It's pretty much a toy show at the moment. I know it's on HBO now, and it's like 30 minutes, but it's like turned into Elmo and whatever else they can throw at you. I mean, really, 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 you learn something off Captain Kangaroo, you learn something off Mr. Rogers, Electric Company, you learn something off of, but Sesame Street was just basically an hour of our parents getting to do whatever they wanted to because we were watching burlesque for kids. Is basically what Sesame Street was, with some education thrown in. The Electric Company was way more educational than Sesame Street. And I think the fact it was a 30-minute show kind of helped out a little because Sesame Street like would reuse sketches. Like you'd see a sketch. Uh, I mean, I was watching it up until like the 90s, and I'd still see like sketches from like the early days of Sesame Street mixed in with like newer stuff, and they just padded their shows out that way. I mean, the Muppet Show was actually more entertaining than Sesame Street, but it was meant to be entertaining. It wasn't meant to be educational like Sesame Street was, but I digress. Yeah, I just hope everybody's having like a good time. Hope October was good to you. I got blocked by like 15 or 20 people on Facebook. It happens. I had to block like about 15 or 20 people because they're like, hey, have you heard about this great program that the federal government is offering? I'm like, "Ah." And also I had to block like 5 people on Twitter. X today. I'm sorry, X. Not Twitter anymore. X. Yeah, I had to block like 5 people on there because they were just basically trying to sell me like cam shows or whatever. Hey, check me out on my super secret website. Getting way, way off subject. A friend of mine, message from somebody claiming to be a member of the Illuminati. I'm reading this, and I'm like, wait, the Illuminati is a secret group that only lets select people in? That Illuminati? And they're sending you a Facebook message? Isn't that kind of like Fight Club? The first rule of Illuminati is you never speak about Illuminati. Never really got that rule either. 'Cause, like, he's like, "The first rule of Fight Club is we don't talk about Fight Club." I'm like, "But you're talking about Fight Club right now, so aren't you violating your rule?" Hmm. But yeah, once I finish La Boheme, I am gonna probably pop V for Vendetta in because I always watch that around every November 5th because, Guy Fawkes Day, Guy Fawkes Day. And she got tired of chewing whatever she was chewing, and so there she is back there. She really is a well-behaved dog for how hyper she is being the Chihuahua and Boston Terrier. Other than the whining, but I don't know what that's about, but I'll find out. Hope everybody has a very good night, and
Awesome!
I hope it was. Oh, there go the Halloween Eagles again. Catch y'all later, and hope y'all have a happy and safe Halloween. Oh, still alive. All right then. Okay.